love what I do as a therapist. I just refuse to keep doing it like this. What is up? My name is Sharia. I am currently building my dream midlife and business in real time and sharing the journey with you guys. I'm also quietly planning a sabbatical, and this is month 1 of 20. I plan to be able to exit and take a career break in November of 2027 after my 45th birthday. And so I am documenting and sharing all of that with you guys here. And in today's video, we'll be doing a day in the life of a therapist, really discussing all of the things about my current business that I love, things that I hate, and that I plan to change. If you're interested in following that journey, I would really love for you to subscribe. So let's get into it. So just a little backstory about business or my social work career. I graduated with my master's in 2012. I immediately went into corporate social work doing child protective services, left child protective services in 2021 and went into private practice part-time. The goal was to work UNC for 3 years, which is when I would have become vested in taking that money out to be able to work my practice without the pressure of having to replace my income. Unfortunately, that did not work. I ended up staying with UNC for about 6 months. Before I went to UNC, I was working non-traditional hours and I was very present for my family. And then when I went to UNC to do the medical social work position, it was the traditional hours, and it was just a really hard transition. Fast forward, I left that job in February 2022. I have been doing full-time private practice since then. So March 18th, 2026 will be 5 years that my private practice has been open. And I just recently, like maybe in 2024, mid 2025, just realized like I am so tired of this. Now, I do love talking to clients. I do love being a therapist. I do love cultivating other social workers, but I really just want to slow things down, and I now want my practice or my business to accommodate my life. I encourage you to stick around for this series specifically because I'm trying to figure it out too. Stay with me as I go along this journey and try to figure out what the dream business looks like for me and what price I'm willing to pay for my success after I have accurately defined it in a way that is true to me. All right, so I did go and get myself dressed, and I am back to talk more about the things that I hated in 2025 in my business and what I'm doing to change it. Since we're now in 2026, I've started to be more intentional with reflecting on the things that I did not like in 2025 and how I want to be working on cultivating or curating or designing my dream business in 2026 and beyond. And I know if you're like, well, I thought you were doing a career break or a sabbatical at age 45, and I am going to talk more about that in a separate video. But my business will still be part of that sabbatical, or I won't necessarily be completely not working. So let's get into some of the things that I absolutely did not like in 2025 when it came down to being a therapist in private practice. The first one is the constant exchange of time for money. If you follow my private practice page on TikTok, then you know I do have some brand deals, and I get content creation, or I was getting money from TikTok. Although I have diversified my income with brand deals, a contracting position, and consulting sessions as a coach and consultant for other clinicians, I have diversified my income with that. But even consulting is a one-on-one trade. I constantly jam-pack my day, well, not always, jam-pack my days with that one-on-one exchange. And that limits, one, my creativity. It drains my energy when you're listening to people and helping them walk through and solve their own problems or improve their mental health, or, you know, all of the things that come with being a therapist. So that has limited my ability to work on other things that I also want to do to diversify my income. Another problem is that I lack consistency across all the platforms that I'm on. So especially in my branding. And so the picture that I may have on my website may not match the picture if you found me on like ZocDoc or Growth Therapy, any of those spaces. And I need that brand consistency to be cohesive so that people associate a picture or some messaging or some phrasing or some colors with me immediately. I did have a brand shoot at the end of 2025 and I have yet to update all of the platforms. Another problem that I have noticed in 2025 is that I am only known, or I feel like I'm only known for client sessions and being a therapist. Maybe that may not necessarily be true because I do have quite a following on my TikTok page as a coach and consultant for therapists. For other clinicians. While I love cultivating new social workers and empowering clinicians to, make that money, my passion is mental health. So I feel like I only appear as a service provider and not as a thought leader. And I haven't had the time to invest into myself and my business to figure out how to position myself from a service provider to a thought leader. Lastly, one of the biggest problems, which I kind of already touched on this in problem number 1, are time constraints. My time is so limited because I'm a wife, I'm a mom to 5 children. 4 of those children are adults and I feel like they need you more when they're trying to navigate adulthood themselves. But I also work an overnight triage counselor position. I don't create content consistently. And those time constraints start to make you feel pressure and then start to make you feel rushed. And then I feel like that leads to the burnout that I'm currently experiencing that makes me want to just burn it all down and start it all over. So here are the solutions for those 4 problems. For the time constraints, I need to create a realistic schedule that is inclusive of all of the things that I want to prioritize. In the past, I've been prioritizing making money. That has been the biggest thing. And if you follow me for a while, I've worked 2, 3, 4 jobs, and I filtered in being a mom and a wife wherever. And I even overextended myself because of the guilt I was experiencing from prioritizing making money. In 2026 and going forward, I want to create a schedule that not only prioritizes me and my self-care so that I can fill my cup and it run over into the people that I love, but 2, to incorporate the things that are important to me, such as writing my blogs to reach people and going live for that community over on Instagram, creating retreats and meeting people in public and all of those things. I need to create a realistic calendar. That would mean I would have to decrease my client's caseload, and that would mean that I would decrease the income that my private practice makes. So trying to figure what that balance and that rhythm looks like is important. For the income, the constant one-on-one trade. Now, again, I have diversified my income, and my private practice probably makes anywhere between $11,000 and $14,000 a month. But it's a lot of work that gets me to that level of income. Right now, I have about 3 brand deals that brings in about $3,500 a month, and I'm so grateful for that. But I would love if I had 1 brand deal that brought in $3,500 a month. I would love to be able to let my overnight triage counselor position go. Not necessarily overnight. It's an easy job and I love doing it because it's solution focused, which I love, and it's short term, which is another thing that I love. What I don't love about it is that it's overnight. And so I want to go to bed with my husband. And so starting to figure out how I can decrease the hours over there and what that would look like is something that I want to figure out in 2026, and maybe even not even have to consider when I go into my sabbatical. As far as the brand consistency, it's not a quick fix because I have to first figure out all of the platforms that I appear on, but then I have to go in and update those. So those will be things that you will start to see in my administrative days in the life of a therapist. Is me updating a platform, updating the bios, updating the pictures. I've already started with my website. Lastly, positioning myself from a service provider to a thought leader. I I spoke on 2 panels last year. Both of those were paid, and I spoke on about 4 podcasts, and I want to increase that in 2026. I want to offer speeches. I want speaking engagements, but I need to find the time. I need to make the time to write the speeches and the topics that I want to talk to. And I want to even hire me like not a speaking coach. I feel like I speak very well, but I am biased. But I want to hire someone who kind of like pitches me to speaking engagements that align with my brand and my messaging. Right now, if any of you guys are watching, I am open to free speaking engagements. Free is in the sense you don't have to pay me to speak, but if I have to travel, I would like traveling accommodations. So the population that I talk to the most, the population that I work with is young adults, giving them the confidence to navigate adulthood with confidence, even if they feel like they don't know what they're doing. Also, Black and brown women who are overwhelmed and overworked, trying to manage all of the responsibilities of all of the hoods: wifehood, motherhood, adulthood, and a demanding career. So speaking to that population is more of what I want to do. Those are the 4 solutions for those 4 problems that I have identified from 2025 that I really want to intentionally work on changing and or improving in 2026 and beyond. Now, when it comes to making those transitions and doing the work to fix the things that I did not like in 2025 and create my dream business, the biggest thing that comes to mind is fear. And I am a do it anyway type of person. Do it scared, do it tired. I'm that type of person. And a quote that lives rent free in my head is actually one of my favorite quotes: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so when I find myself talking myself out of doing things or succumbing to the fear, I am very intentional with pushing through it. One of the biggest fears that I'm just recently realizing is the fear of not having security. Now, yes, I do have a spouse, and my spouse, we do have a joint income, and I do manage most of the money. He trusts that I do a good job with that, and I don't have to worry about that. So if I were to lose my overnight triage counselor position income momentarily while I build out these other income streams in my business, we would still be okay as far as all of our needs being met. What may not be possible is the traveling and the date nights and the nails and the hair and things like that. I don't know if I want the things that I want in my business enough to go to sacrifice those things. Now, my private practice made $152,000 last year, even though I pay myself a very small salary. And in my overnight triage counselor position, I do only get paid $76,000. Well, the package ends up being like $91,000, but my salary is $76,500, and then I get incentive bonuses that bring me right to about 82 maybe. And then we get shift differentials and all of that stuff. I mean, I make good money, but I make good money in my business as well. So what is the problem, as I say it out loud? As big as I say I want to be, I want to have this mental health empire. Not from the sense of like being greedy and wanting a whole lot of money, but in the sense of being known for being passionate about improving other individuals' mental health, particularly individuals who want to improve their mental health. I'm not talking about the victim mentality ones, the ones who put the responsibility on a therapist but don't do the work, the ones who feel like everything or everyone is against them. I'm talking about the ones who really know that nothing changes if nothing changes. But I don't know if I have the boundaries in place to maintain my privacy because I am introverted and I love spending time alone. I don't know if I have the boundaries, or I'll always have the boundaries to not give myself to people who feel entitled to me and my services and my expertise. So that is one of my fears. Another fear is like the fear of success and the responsibility that it brings. And I feel like because I know that I am scared of that, I sometimes find myself saying things like, I don't want a lot. Maybe this is good enough. But then I guess I'm reminded, because I started to see things like, you know, you were meant to be rich or you were meant to be wealthy if you've always desired luxury things. And I have always desired luxury things. So I'm going back and forth with that, and I'm really trying to work through, is this like a burnout and that's why I feel like I don't want it because I don't want to do the work to get it? Or am I truly content with where I am? And then lastly is imposter syndrome. I struggle with imposter syndrome, particularly in leadership spaces. I feel like I do very well with people who try to blame me for their failures, but I also don't want to be blamed for other people's failures. And sometimes that does impact my confidence and how I show up in these spaces. So that is it for what my dream business looks like and all of the things that I'm working on. So this would be episode number 1. I encourage you to subscribe so that you do not miss these series. Also, real work days in my life as a therapist trying to grow and scale her private practice. Now, I do share these on a daily basis, or at least a weekly basis, over on TikTok in a short form, like 2-minute video. And sometimes I do upload those to shorts. So, I mean, you could stay here, but I would love for you to join me there as well. You can follow me here for preparing for my year 45 sabbatical. So that video will be coming up shortly. I did want to let you guys know that I will be uploading videos weekly. I do have an editor, thank God, because the recording the content was not the problem. It was editing the content around all of the things that I was already doing. And so I have an editor, and we will be getting these videos out every Sunday. So get your reset started, turn me on in the background so that my channel can grow, first of all, and hang out with me. I will, like I said, catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.